What are you doing? And why are you so calm?
I'm just basking in the oneness of my astral self. What's gotten into you, man?
Chaos and rage. Chaos and rage!
Man, I guess you want to talk about the Unearthed Arcana, Barbarian, and Monk?
That'll work.
Welcome to Nerdarchy. For nerds, by nerds, I'm Nerdarchy Dave, and usually I'm hanging out with this nerd.
Nerdarchy Ted.
Maybe this is your first time hanging out in Ted's basement. It's a place where we like to discuss news, views, and homebrews for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, and sometimes we even talk about other role-playing games.
So if you don't want to miss a single video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and attune to that notification bell.
All right, so we are going to jump right into the Unearthed Arcana. We're a little bit behind the 8 ball on this one. It came out a while ago, but we recently did an Unearthed Arcana, and some of the comments were like, hey, I miss you guys doing these. Can you go back and do some of the ones you missed? So we're like, you know what? All right, well, this one isn't too far. We're not going to go back and do all of them, but we can go back and do this one. This Unearthed Arcana was a lot of fun. We even did a newsletter about it. We did do a live chat where we talked about it, but that's a much longer format. And we know not everyone watches our long format content. But in that newsletter, one of the things I kind of discussed was the idea of world building based on new subclasses and what can be done with it. Now, before we start this the video, get into the meat and potatoes of it, I would like to thank our sponsor, which is all about world building. That is Campfire Technology. It's a great platform for building characters, building stories, building the world, doing the world building itself.
You know, whether you want to, create stories for your game or whether you are just looking to, write stories for your own enjoyment, Campfire Technology is absolutely amazing. It puts everything together. It's gotten wild success. There's a huge social media, populace that's into it. They've had over 15,000 downloads of their software. It's amazing. You have to check it out.
They recently had a successful Kickstarter for their new platform that's going to be coming out, Blaze. There is a 10-day free trial. There is also a 10-day money-back guarantee, hassle-free. So you can check it out for basically 20 days. And if you're not satisfied, you can jump out. You'll get your money back. It's not a big deal. You can do 10 days without even whipping out your credit card. So you can really check it out. You can build encyclopedias over there. You can build timelines. It's great for organizing all of your story elements of your campaign and just a good place to keep your notes together.
I would agree. And speaking of notes, I'm going to pull out the Unearthed Arcana here so we can dive into our Barbarian and Monk, starting off with the Primal Soul.
In the description, we will have links to the Unearthed Arcana as well as Campfire Technology, so you can check all of that out. I'll be on D&D Beyond looking at the Path of the Wild Soul.
So Primal Path, the Path of the Wild Soul is what you get for the Barbarian option. The realm of the Feywild abounds with beauty, unpredictable emotion, and rampant magic. A barbarian exposed to this realm feels emotions powerfully and magic saturates their body. When a barbarian who follows this path rages, it is a bellowing roar for freedom, an explosion of expression manifesting in unpredictable ways. With 3rd level, you get lingering magic. At 3rd level, your body reacts to the presence of magic. You can cast a detect magic spell without using spell slot or components. Constitution is your spellcasting ability for this spell. You faintly glow a color corresponding to the school of magic you detect. You choose the colors. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your Constitution modifier, minimum once, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest.
So we're seeing a couple of new things here that we haven't seen before. One, we're seeing Constitution as a spellcasting ability. I don't think we've seen that yet, right? Is that new?
This is the first one.
And the other thing is that it just actually amuses me. When you cast Detect Magic, there is no hiding this one. Like, you glow, and people are like, why are you purple? I don't know, divination magic.
So, I like, in earlier editions, there was a color chart corresponding to the school of magic. And I've tried to use that, in my gaming over the years. So that's one of my DM notes that I try to keep handy whenever I'm running. So that if someone uses Detect Magic, I've got that color chart ready to go. So the fact that it pulls that information out, up there, brings it to light again, makes me happy.
Yeah, I mean, now it's kind of individualized per barbarian, like two barbarians of this path may not glow the same colors for the same school of magic, which is fine, but it's cool. Like, it's just a RP thing you can do as your barbarian is make a list of the schools and be like, well, what color do I glow when I detect, transmutation? Plaid. I don't know.
So, also at third level, you get the Wild Surge, which is pretty hilarious. Starting at third level, magic erupts from you when you rage. When you enter your rage, roll in the Wild Surge table to determine the magical effect produced. If the Wild Surge requires a saving throw, the DC is 8, plus your proficiency modifier, plus your con mod, because con is your spellcasting for this entire class. So you're going to roll a d8. And on a 1, necrotic energy bursts from you. Each creature within 30 takes a d10 of necrotic damage. And the kicker is you gain temporary hit points equal to the total of all the necrotic done. This is crazy. I love that.
It seems really strong, but at the same time, it's one and done, right? You rage, it happens.
Right.
You're going to gain those temporary hit points. They're going to last until this combat's over or until you go through them. So depending on how much damage you're able to do. Also, it says each creature within 30 feet. You don't have a choice. Friendlies will take the damage.
Indeed. If you roll a 2, you teleport up to 20 feet to an unoccupied space you can see until your range ends. You can activate this again on each of your turns as a bonus action. So you kind of get that, that mini teleport every round while you're raging. That's kind of cool.
It is kind of cool. It gives you more mobility. Basically, your movement is 50 while you're raging with that teleport, but also allows you to get to hard to reach places. Maybe you have a flying enemy. Well, if you wait until they dip down the 20 feet or what you think is 20 feet, you can teleport at them and maybe try and get that grapple on.
Or, you run and jump as high as you can and then use your bonus action to teleport up further.
Yeah. So
depending upon how you want to play it.
So you have options.
If you roll a 3, you conjure 1d4 intangible spirits that look like flumps in unoccupied spaces within 30 feet of you. Each spirit immediately flies 30 feet in a random direction. At the end of the turn, the creatures explode, hitting everything within 5 feet, and they do 2d8 force damage to everything around them. This one's more chaos for the DM, as they have to then, figure out where they show up, how they move. Kind of crazy, but humorous.
Yeah, this one is going to be a little bit harder to implement, like you said, as the DM. As the player, you have no idea what's going to happen. This could affect the enemy. This could affect friendlies. This one could just be funny as to what happens. Nothing could happen depending which way they go. So far of the effects, this one is kind of like the worst that you could possibly get because there's a good possibility it's not going to be beneficial. There's also the possibility that it's going to be harmful to you and your allies.
Indeed. And it's force damage, so very little, resists that. On a 4, arcane energy enshrouds you. Until your rage ends, you get a +2 bonus to AC, and whenever a creature within 10 feet of you hits you with an attack, that creature takes force damage equal to your constitution modifier.
This one is really good. Higher armor class, people take damage if you want them to.
Yeah.
You can't lose with that.
Yeah, I think this one's so far the best. On a 5, plant life temporarily grows around you until your rage ends. The ground within 10 feet of you is difficult terrain. So this one, I think, is more of a direct hindrance towards yourself because you can't get out of it. It's centered on you.
But that being said, if you were in a group of enemies and you get this effect while you rage, they're going to have trouble getting away from you.
That is helpful, too.
I think it would stack really nice with like the Sentinel feat, where it could take someone a long time to get away from you, and with a raging barbarian in your face, a long time is not a good thing.
Indeed. So if you roll a 6, arcane energy taps into the minds of those around you. Each creature within 30 feet of you must succeed on a wisdom saving throw, or you see a glimpse of their thoughts, learning how it plans to attack you. As a result, the creature has disadvantage on attack rolls against you until the start of your next turn.
Again, this one's okay, but it's one and done. So
yeah, you get the one round benefit, and if the creatures don't attack you that turn
or make their saving throw,
right. So on a 7, this one is really enjoyable as well. Shadows weave around a weapon of your choice that you are holding. Until your rage ends, your weapon deals psychic damage instead of its normal type, and it gains the light and throwing properties with a short range of 20 feet and a long range of 60 feet. If you drop the weapon or throw it, the weapon dissipates and reappears in your hand at the end of turn.
So this is really nice because you can stab the guy next to you and then throw it at the other guy across the room, and then it's going to come back to you. It has the thrown property. You're still using your strength. It just gives you more options. The fact you're doing psychic damage, which there aren't a lot of things that are immune to it. This you're the enemy of the totem barbarian with the bear totem now because of that psychic damage. So it's really cool. I like this one. I think it's thematic, and the description is going to be kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm totally all over that one. I want to create a character that, like, as an NPC, like a monster, an adversary, that is their style. They always get that. Number 8, a beam of brilliant light lances from your chest in a 5-foot wide, 60-foot long line. Each creature in the line must succeed on a con save or take 2d8 radiant damage and be blinded until the start of your next turn. This is totally that Iron Man, just totally love it.
Yeah, the uni beam that Iron Man gets, which is pretty cool. This is a good one. Again, it's one and done, so maybe it's going to be super useful, maybe not, depending on what's going on. It's a crapshoot with all of these. You don't know what you're going to get, but it's a lot of fun. If you want to have that randomness to your character, this is going to add it.
I would agree. All right, so it's 6th level. We finally get some level ups going on. Magic Reserves. This one, super powerful ability. It's crazy. At 6th level, you channel the magic surging inside you into other creatures. As an action, you can touch a creature and roll a d4. The creature recovers an expended spell slot of an equal level to the number rolled. If the creature you touch can't recover a spell slot of that level, the creature instead gains temporary hit points equal to 5 times the number rolled. You take force damage equal to 5 times the number rolled. When you reach 14th level in this class, you can increase the die to a d6, which makes this, so far, the only way of recovering a 6th level spell slot, which no other class has the ability to do.
But your barbarian can give it to you if he takes 60 or 30 points,
damage.
30 points of damage, force damage. It's interesting. It's cool. It's a funny way for the barbarian to be able to buff the spellcaster.
So I look at this, and I look at, the barbarian who's glowing and, occasionally doing stuff of, like, every so often, like, their body just begins to shake, and, like, they're overcome with magic, and it's like, get over here now. And, like, the magic kind of explodes out of them and into the creature that they touch. The person they touch, no problems, but their body is, like, racked as, skin and everything just begins to fall off from the damage that they just took, to get rid of the magic that's welling up inside of them.
I want to play a spellcaster that's addicted to the barbarian now. Like, I know, like, years ago, like, kids were licking frogs in Florida to get high, but instead you have the mage is like, will you touch me? Come on, please touch me.
So this could totally be, like, an awesome pairing. Maybe you've got a whole new take on, the brothers from Dragonlance. I think that could be really cool. 10th level, we get Arcane Rebuke. At 10th level, the magic crackling within your soul lashes out. When a creature forces you to make a saving throw while you are raging, you can use your reaction to deal 3d6 force damage to that creature. No saving throw. Oh, you cast a spell at me? Take damage! Ugh. There's nothing bad about this class.
Yeah, like, this was stacked nicely with the Mage Slayer feat.
I would agree. 14th level, we get Chaotic Fury. And here is, like, the creme de la creme. You become a wellspring of wild magic while you're raging. As a bonus action, you can re-roll on the wild search table, replacing the current effect with the new one.
This is nice because if you get one that isn't working for you right now, or if you get one that is one and done, then now you can keep cycling them out with that bonus action.
Yeah, so, like, the ones that, like, okay, the beam of brilliant energy, you conjure the flumps, the necrotic burst of energy, the one where you get the knowledge of how they're going. All of these ones, like, that's half of the list, literally are a one and done ability that you can just keep cycling out. It just makes this class so powerful. And to me, this just screams, make an NPC who's got, these abilities that they've got to use, and it would be a crazy presence on the battlefield, and I just want to do it now.
It's definitely fun. There's a lot of good stuff you can do with this. Unlike some of the other subclasses, no synergies are really jumping out to me as far as I would want to multi-class with this.
Mhm.
Like thematically, the wild magic sorcerer really works well, but for the most part,
There's not a crossover of abilities.
yeah, mechanically, yeah, there isn't. But this would just be fun to play straight up as is.
I would agree.
So
And Barbarian is a good class overall. So having a very solid, build to attach to it with its subclass, I'm like I said, I can't say enough good things about it.
I suspect if this makes it to an actual product, we'll see a little nerfing here and there and some tweaks based off of what information they get. I like the fact that this build has a lot of detriment built into it that could affect the other characters in the party. The Wild Mage Sorcerer gets a little bit of that as well, so you're getting more of that in here. That's one of the things I hope they leave in there.
Mhm.
I like the fact that you could be a great boon to the party, or not so much.
Now, before we head on to the monk, I will say that given the chaos storms of our world, this speaks highly to Chimes of Discordia, and I think this is very, very fitting for our personal world.
Well, we have our version of a chaos waste,
Mhm.
where the chaos storms are raging all the time, and maybe even the origin of them. That like tribes of barbarians with this path, and it would make a lot of sense.
All right, so moving on to the monastic tradition, the way of the astral self. Monks of the way of the astral self have an internal struggle with their key. They see their mystical energy as a representation of their true form, an astral self. This form has the capacity to be a force for good or destruction, with some monasteries training students to either temper their nature or embrace their impulses. So at third level, you get Arms of the Astral Self. Amazing. At third level, your Mastery of Ki allows you to summon a portion of your astral self. On your turn, you can spend 2 key points as a bonus action to summon the arms of your astral self for 10 minutes. These spectral arms hover near your shoulders. You determine the arm's appearance based on the qualities of your character. While your astral arms are summoned, you gain the following benefits. You can use your wisdom modifier in place of your strength mod when making strength checks or strength saving throws. Pretty cool. The arms are monk weapons and have a reach of 10 feet. The arms deal radiant or necrotic damage, your choice. When you attack with the arms, you can use their wisdom modifier instead of strength or dex mod for attack and damage rolls. Pretty incredible. And we're not done. Immediately after you use the attack action with your astral arms on your turn, you can make 1 extra attack with your astral arms as a bonus action. The number of extra attacks increases when you reach certain levels in this class, 2 at 11 and 3 at 17th. So eventually you bypass the need for a flurry of blows because you're doing more with your bonus action than what you could be if you were spending key.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're still spending key anyway because you're going to have to do that in order to do it. The quick mention of the sidebar is your astral components can look however you want them to look. That's completely up to you. They could mirror your appearance. They could look like a demon. They could look like an angel. They could look like a suit of armor, however you want it to be. So that part's really cool. Now, the things that are great about this is a lot of times I see monks dump strength. They go dexterity and wisdom. Here, you're like, if you need to make strength checks or saving throws, well, that's not a problem anymore because you can use your wisdom while you have your arms summoned. Also, if you want to play a more unorthodox monk, it's easier now because you can use your wisdom for a lot of stuff instead of dex or strength. One of the big problems with making a monk character is it's like you need wisdom, you need dex, you should probably have a good constitution. So if you have to make a sacrifice mechanically someplace, well, now you can lean on that wisdom as your high stat when the circumstances are right.
I would agree. So we get Visage of the Astral Self at 6th level. You can summon the Visage of your Astral Self on your turn. You can spend 1 key point as a bonus action or as part of summoning your Astral Arms to summon the Visage for 10 minutes. The Spectral Visage covers your face like a helmet or a mask. You determine its appearance based on the qualities of your character. While your Visage is summoned, you gain the following benefits. Wisdom of the Spirit. You have advantage on Wisdom, Insight, and Charisma Intimidation checks. And Astral Sight. You can see normally in darkness, both magical and non-magical, to a distance of 120 feet. So, you get this, helm or visage on, and I like the fact that, okay, I'm just going to spend 3 key points and get both all at once. I like the fact that it's like, oh, I've got to set this up to.
Yeah, you can keep building on it. Having an advantage for the insight, intimidation, kind of cool. Astral sight, you're getting to be able to see in magical and non-magical darkness at 120 feet. The only other way to get that right now is by being a warlock and taking devil sight, the invocation, or actually being a devil and being able to do it. So now, that ability will partner and pair up really nice with that warlock that likes to fight from darkness, because now you have somebody in there with you and that has your back and can take advantage of it.
So I definitely like the the synergy that could possibly be built with a party going on there. At 11th level, we get Awakening of the Astral Self. You tap into the greater power of your astral self. While you have both your arms and your visage summoned, you gain the following benefits. You can deflect energy. When you take acid, cold, fire, lightning, or force damage, you can use your reaction to deflect it. When you do so, you reduce the damage by a die 10 plus your wisdom modifier plus your monk level. Pretty nice. I mean, there's a lot that your reaction can be used for, and for this type of character, that's one more thing that I think is a good bet.
You've just expanded deflect arrows to pretty much deflect anything.
Empowered arms. Once on each of your turns, when you hit a target with your astral arms, you can deal extra damage to the target equal to your martial arts die. So you're basically doubling the die of your damage there. And imagine if you use this on a crit.
That would definitely be the place to use it.
You also get Word of the Spirit. When you speak through your visage, you can direct your words to a creature of your choice that you can see within 30 feet of you, making it so only that creature can hear you. Alternatively, you can project your voice so that anyone within 600 feet can hear you.
This is a nice RP thing, which actually has some benefits in game if you just need to get a message to one person. Even though you're on a crowded battlefield, the people around you would not be able to hear it if you didn't want them to, or just that very impressive booming voice that everyone hears as it gets projected from your astral self.
So lastly, we move into the complete astral self at 17th level. So we have built up to this complete and utter mastery. Your connection to your astral self is now complete, allowing you to summon it entirely. On your turn, you can spend 10 key points as a bonus action to summon the arms, visage, and body of your astral self for 10 minutes. The spectral body covers your physical form like a suit of armor, connecting with the arms and visage. You determine its appearance based on the qualities of your character. While your astral self is summoned, you gain the following benefits. Armor of the Spirit. You gain a +2 bonus to AC while you aren't incapacitated. Astral Barrage. When you use your extra attack feature to attack twice, you can instead attack 3 times using your astral arms. Key Consumption. When a creature within 10 feet of you is reduced to 0 hit points, you can use your reaction to gain key points equal to your wisdom modifier, minimum 1.
Now, this is super impressive. One, that last key consumption is awesome because of the monks, this is a key burner, right? This one is going to rip through it fast. Unfortunately, it doesn't take long to get key back. It is less than a short rest to get your key points to refill. But still, we're talking obviously 17th level, but 2 encounters and you could literally be out of key points, as a 20th level monk. Now, the other place I would say this one has awesome synergy with 2 levels of fighter because you can get 3 attacks as a monk. Well, you can action surge. Now you can get 6 attacks. Bonus action for another 3, I believe. So we're talking about 9 attacks.
With which a fighter who's maxed out gets 4 attacks. Action surge gets 8. This monk with 2 levels of fighter can get 9.
Yes, which is super impressive. By that point, your martial art die is up there. You can do one extra martial art die as well. So yeah, and you can also either do necrotic or radiant damage, which could have some perks to itself. So there's a lot you could do with this. This is very interesting. This is one I definitely expect to see some changes if it becomes a subclass.
I would agree. I think they're both good. They're both powerful. I definitely see, or at least from my opinion, there's not a whole lot of ease built into this. There's power creep going on, but I don't think they're so powerful that I'd be like, no, that can't be played in my game. I would welcome either of these subclasses in for any game that I play, and both of them are strong enough that I would want to play it.
Yeah, absolutely. I will let them in the game. I don't know if there would be any unintended consequences. I don't know. Maybe a raging astral self monk might be kind of brutal if you're adding a rage damage to all of those. If you choose to make strength attacks, there's definitely like the when you talked about action surge, but action surge just makes everything better anyway. So off the top of my head, I don't see any red flags. Not like the warlock and the sorcerer. I definitely saw areas where you could definitely multi-class and really amp up the power on some of your things. These are like really strong, but they're like really strong by themselves. And chances are I wouldn't even probably want to multi-class them because I would want to get all of these abilities.
Mm-hmm. No, you make strong points. We brought up the monk and the fighter. Just to get that action surge, you really don't need anything else. But you're sacrificing levels 19 and 20 on monk if you're doing a full 20th level build, and it's not really until you get to 17th level as monk that I would really care and need those levels of fighter. So
I don't know. A wild-shaped druid that summons the arms. Like, you could do all these abilities while you're wild-shaped, so that might be kind of interesting, and you could do some things. But again, you're going to sacrifice those higher-level abilities.
Yes, yeah.
So it depends, and, but then you have to look at, well, how high-level game are you typically playing, right?
Right.
So, like, an interesting build might be a 6-level monk, 6-level Circle of the Moon druid to see what you could do with that. So, but like I said, nothing is really jumping out the way some other things did with other Unearthed Arcana. I would allow it. It looks like fun. I'm curious to see what Wizards of the Coast does with these.
I can't wait to see more.
With that, let us know what you think down in the comments. Would you use this in your game? Would you allow your players to use it? Have you used it? Let's talk about it down there. While you're heading down to the comments, check the description for Campfire Technology and give it a look. Remember, you have that free trial for 10 days, 20 days, money back guarantee. So it's plenty of time to figure out if it's for you or not. Check it out. Before we head on out, I want to take a moment to invite you to join Nerdarchy, the adventuring party. Today, what can they expect over there?
Over on Patreon, we're creating products for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons that both players and DMs alike can drop right into their game.
But that's not all. We do monthly giveaways, and our patrons are automatically entered.
We do weekly hangouts with our patrons and more.
So quest on down to the description. Join the Nerdarchy adventuring party. Until next time,
stay nerdy.